Thank you for being here on the last day of at least recorded activities for this DebConf. I am delighted to introduce Kathara, who will be presenting her journey in open source from Outreachy from DebConf attendee to Outreachy intern. Please welcome her.
Thank you, Nicholas. Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm going to share my journey from being a DebConf attendee to becoming an Outreachy intern in Debian. It's going to be a small talk. So to start with, I'll talk a bit about me. I'm Kathara. I'm 22 years old and I'm from Kerala. I completed my BTech degree in computer science and engineering from NSS College of Engineering. So during my college years, I was actively involved with NSS, which is the open source cell in our college, where I led various community and project initiatives. So most recently, I had the opportunity to be a Outreachy intern with Debian in December 2023 cohort. And I was able to contribute something to Debian ecosystem. And if you want to read about my journey and projects, you can check my website. And my journey into the world of the open source began with a simple yet profound concept, that is free and open source software. I was fascinated by the simple idea that anyone could access, modify, and share software freely. It was also about the community and the philosophy behind it. The idea that people from all over the world could collaborate to create something amazing. And I was drawn to the transparency and the openness and the sense of shared purpose. And this was a huge motivator for me. And my open source journey officially began with NSS, which is the open source cell in our college. I still remember sitting in the inauguration of NSS during the first year of college, knowing very little about open source, and then taking initiatives, organizing events, then becoming a project lead and still continuing to contribute and helping as a technical advisor there. So the mission of NSS was pretty clear. It was to bridge the gap between newbies and broaden the FOSS community. We aim to create an inclusive and diverse culture that welcomed everyone, regardless of their technical background or stream branches they chose in engineering. We made sure to organize various events, workshops from beginner-friendly sessions on Git and Linux to advanced sessions on software development and deployment. Also, we had weekly meetups, and as I said, one of our primary objective was to promote FOSS adoption among students and encourage them to open source projects. We believe that by providing a supportive environment would help students to make meaningful contributions. And another major stepping stone was being a part of Mini Debian conference organized by the Debian India community and NSS in Palakkad in 2022. So as you all know, what Mini Debian conference is, it's like a small version of the Debian conference. So my role was a bit of like coordinating logistics, technical support and all. But more than that, it was an opportunity to meet and interact with amazing people from Debian community. And we had presentations, workshops, and a lot of discussions. It was a great way to learn about like Debian and open source world. And next is obviously DC, which held in Kochi last year. I attended as a volunteer. I worked on small tasks like sorting swag bags, front desk management. It was my first Debian conference as well, and also my first international conference. Although my tasks were not non-technical, I was able to meet a lot of wonderful people, and I also got my initial exposure to Debian packaging, which was a bit intimidating but exciting. Speaking about the truth, personally for me, the technical complexity was a bit intimidating, but the community was welcoming for sure. And challenges in open source. Now let me be honest, starting with the packaging wasn't easy for me at least. The technical complexity was pretty overwhelming, especially for someone starting out. There's a lot to learn and the entry barriers can feel really high. I quickly realized that there wasn't a lot of beginner-friendly documentation, which made things even harder. As a newcomer, I often felt reluctant and hesitant to ask questions in a group or worried about looking inexperienced. And there was also always that fear of appearing inexperienced, which often kept me from engaging in group discussions and all. So it was at that point I started looking for something structured, support system, and that's when I came across Outreachy. So for those who don't know what Outreachy internship is, it's a program that provides opportunity for newbies in tech to gain hands-on experience in open source. Something similar to GSOC, I'll say. So what drew me to Outreachy was its structured support system, one-to-one mentorship. So that was exactly what I needed at that moment, like a mentor to guide me through the complexity of contributing to open source projects. Talking a bit about the application process, it involved an essay and a profile review, and if you get through it, there will be a time window of 1 month in which you can select the community you want to contribute and then make your initial contributions. You can contribute to 2 to 3 communities. I kept Debian as my main community to contribute and also did some contributions to other communities as well as a backup plan. And after 1 month of the initial contribution period, they let out the results and then comes the 3 months of your internship. So it is like a perfect platform to overcome the challenges that I felt earlier and dive deeper into the open source world. I'm not bragging about it more. You can go to the website and check if you are interested. So my initial contribution period, what I did was I worked on developing a web scraping script for the Debian wiki under the guidance of my mentor, Lucas Kaneshiro. So my project was to write a script that extracts news contents from various sections of the Debian wiki and save it in a markdown format. And I managed different environments using Docker to ensure consistency and handle various things like that. And the script also included command line options for flexibility, such as running in development or production modes. You can check out the project in my Salsa repository if you want to understand it deeply. And after that, I get into the internship period. So the main task of the project was to migrate Debian Wiki from using Moin 1.9, which still uses Python 2, and to migrate it to Moin 2. So what I did was I started by setting up a local instance of Moin 1.9 that was crucial for understanding the existing setup and planning the migration to a newer version. And the next step was packaging Moin 2. And during this project, there were discussions about whether to switch to MediaWiki or continue using Moin 2 and all. So this debate involved kind of evaluating pros and cons of each platforms and considering the need of the Debian Wiki community. And also with a lot of help from my mentor, Lucas Kaneshiro, and also the community was incredibly supportive with a lot of members like Praveen, Karsten, offering like a lot of advice and assistance. So it really helped me to like make it to the end. And this about Moin. Moin is basically a Python-based wiki engine. So just in case you want to know what it is. And so my Outreachy internship was like a turning point for me in overcoming my initial fear of packaging. So while choosing the project, there were mainly 3 projects in Debian at that time, and 2 of them was of Debian packaging, and I chose the third one because I was too scared of the fact that I need to do packaging for the project. And I ended up doing Moin 2 packaging in my project. So it helped me to overcome my initial fear of packaging. And of course, with the help of my mentors and this community, I gained this confidence. Today, I continue to maintain several Debian packages after the Outreachy internship, and I'm trying to like actively expand my contributions. So this internship has inspired me to continue contributing to open source and expand my involvement in the future. I encourage everyone to not ask any question because I don't know, I think there is nothing much to ask because, and totally summing it up, it has been an incredible learning experience. It has taught me the value of community, mentorship, and the open source philosophy. And I want to thank everyone who has been here and has been a part of this journey, from the FOSS NSS team to the Debian community and to my Outreachy mentors and everyone who has been through with me in my way. So if you have any questions or want to chat or just want to connect, feel free to reach out to me. You can find more about me on my website or reach out to me in Metrics or Telegram. And one more thing, if we know each other and you're interested in key signing, I'll be more than happy to meet after this talk. So thank you all again for being here and being supportive. Thank you.
Kathara, I have a question. You said one thing that was missing, a lack of documentation for beginners. Can you go in more detail which kind of documentation you mean?
Okay, so while I was beginning to do packaging, also in the case of packaging and while doing the migration, the Moin 2 and 1.9, the documentation was very poor. I took a very long time to get through it just because the documentation was not efficient. And if it was been efficient, I think it would have been more easier to me to do at that point.
So you mean the detailed documentation how Moin 1.9 was packaged, or how to do packaging at all?
No, regarding the Moin thing, it was not about packaging. It was generally about how to create a local instance and in 1.9 and 2 and how to migrate it kind of things. There was no such documentation specifically for packaging Moin. And also separately in terms of packaging, I also found lack of documentation. I only got through because I know people. I got to meet a lot of people from this community, and I got one-to-one help from the people in the community. Otherwise, if I was being there alone trying to figure out myself, it would have been difficult for me. So,
yeah, and with documentation. I know that in the past I read a lot of manuals and we had books in the past. What do you think for new users, new people who want to contribute? Are videos a better way to have some sort of documentation? So would it be nice to have a good tutorial as a video for packaging, or books or man pages, or what else would you prefer?
Videos is also a nice option, but if you have a proper documentation written down, then there is no reason for a video, but that's also a nice option to have to learn, because a lot of the people nowadays search directly for the videos because it might be easier for them to understand, or they don't have to go through, reading through a documentation takes more time. But if we have proper documentation, I don't think we require a video, anything which is...
Okay, written documentation is still good.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Other questions? Yeah.
Thank you, Thomas.
Hi, Kathara. Thank you for your presentation. What would be an advice that you would give to people not starting outreach yet or thinking to apply to, so new people who want to be part of this whole experience? What would be some advice from you?
Okay, when I was applying, the first part was the essay thing. It's writing your essay and justifying why you are the right applicant for this outreachy internship. And I don't know what, it's about personal experience and writing their own stories to get in the first place. And the second round, it's contribution. So we have a lot of communities to contribute to. So choose the community by looking through, reading through the projects and which technologies you feel familiar with or know how to contribute to, because there will be around, after the initial application, there will be around 400 people contributing or doing the initial process, and only 68 out of that 400 people get into the outreachy. So I think it's important to select the project where you have the strongest skill set, and also contribute to like 2 to 3 projects, because there might be someone better than you. So to keep it safe. Yeah. Thank you, Angelina.
Question. You said you were too intimidated to start packaging, and at the end you did. Maybe because you were already engaged in the process, and then the fear of packaging, like you have to overcome the fear anyways. Now that you've done, and you maintain a few packages already, and looking back, that was a lower barrier, but you were able to overcome, what would you say for those that are trying to start, but are too afraid to start?
So just try to do it. If you don't try it, you won't know if you can do it or not. So if you try, and then if you are not able to make it, then it's fine. There will be more stacks or areas where you have the strongest skill set. So try and like find out.
Okay, thank you.
I want to ask you, how do you feel after this internship? Do you feel you can do whatever happening in the future, or you still little bit nervous to solve any problem? I mean, I want to know how do you feel after internship?
Can you repeat it?
Yeah. So I'm asking you, how do you feel after internship? Do you think you can do whatever happening in the future, or you still feel nervous to make any problem?
Okay, so after completing the internship, I feel more confident in myself because during my internship, I had one-to-one mentorship, and now I feel I'm more confident enough to open up and ask about the doubts I have rather than not asking about it or keeping it back. So yeah, I think in the whole process, in the whole journey, I've grown and developed myself in such a way that even though I feel it's a stupid question, I have the guts to ask it right now. So,
okay, thank you.
thank you.
Since we have time, how was DebConf for you? How would you describe this experience of coming here after doing the Outreachy internship?
So last year's DebConf was my first DebConf. So last year I was not at all familiar with how the things work here and all. But this year I know how things work in a DebConf and the expectations. I have clear expectations before coming to DebConf because I was there last year. So it was more of meeting the people who have helped me throughout my process and who have mentored me and talking directly to them and doing work with them directly because the whole internship and all was remote. And I met a lot of people who messaged me after seeing my work. So I was able to meet them all, in the DebConf. So it was a nice experience for me to meet them all. And
more questions?
As somebody who went through this process right now, where do you think Debian lacks the most? Where would more help be welcomed in documentation, in mentorship, on whatever area you experience lacks?
okay, as I told earlier, what I felt personally is about the lack of documentation, obviously, and also for those who want to contribute to Debian also, or Debian or in any open source project as in, they might not know where to start from or how to get into Debian or get into open source project because there's a lot of projects and it's difficult for people to pick it from there or choose from it. So for Debian, I guess, if we can provide a clean state of a website or page of good to solve issues or beginner friendly issues and bugs, it might be helpful for newcomers to contribute easily into Debian. So if someone is want to contribute to Debian and if they pick up a bug and find it very difficult and all, they'll drop their confidence to contribute. So if we can provide a list or kind of something which gives easy to solve bugs or something or packages, it might help people to get into open source and Debian. And also good documentation.
Do you think especially that translating more documentation would help, or is it good enough? More translation would help? I mean, to native languages, not so if documentation was translated from English to various native languages, other languages.
Okay, so in my case, I haven't personally felt a difficulty in that way, because mostly in India and Kerala, people are used to thinking in English about in the technology and aspects. We use the terms and all in English. So personally, I haven't not felt it that way. But I've met some people in the DebConf, some other teams, where they've expressed that they've felt difficulties because of the translation or language barrier in it. So,
thank you.
So, do you have any specific goal in Debian? For instance, like after this internship, maybe you want to be a maintainer of specific project or something like that?
So during my internship, I told you I did more into packaging, which was Python. And after completing it, I started packaging in Python. So now I'm concentrating on doing Python packages. So I'm trying to get a clear base around Python packaging first. So that's my current plan. And now all the packages I've been maintaining right now is in Python. And maybe after getting comfortable in Python and having a clear base with it, I might switch to other team as well. So that's my current plan and what I've been doing.
Thank you.
More questions? Comments? If not, thank you very, very much for this talk and hope to see you next year in Brest. Thanks.
Yeah.